B. Ball. Ball is a round object. Balls can have several uses. For example, they are used in ball games, where the play of the game follows the state of the ball as it is hit, kicked or thrown by players. Balls can also be used for simpler activities, such as catch or juggling. Balls made from hard-wearing materials are used in engineering applications to provide very low friction bearings, known as ball bearings. Black powder weapons use stone and metal balls as projectiles. Although many types of balls are today made from rubber, this form was unknown outside the Americas until after the voyages of Columbus. B. Bear. Bears are carnivorous mammals of the family Ursidae. They are classified as caniforms, or dog-like carnivorans. Although only 8 species of bears are extant, they are widespread, appearing in a wide variety of habitats throughout most of the northern hemisphere and partially in the southern hemisphere. Bears are found on the continents of North America, South America, and Eurasia. Common characteristics of modern bears include large bodies with stocky legs, long snouts, small rounded ears, shaggy hair, plantigrade paws with 5 non-retractile claws, and short tails. B. Bird. Bird is a group of warm-blooded vertebrate animals constituting the class Aves, characterized by feathers, toothless beak jaws, the laying of hard-shelled eggs, a high metabolic rate, a 4-chambered heart, and a strong yet lightweight skeleton. Birds live worldwide and range in size from the 5.5 cm B hummingbird to the 2.8 m common ostrich. There are over 11,000 living species and they are split into 44 orders. More than half are passerine or perching birds. Birds have wings whose development varies according to species. The only known groups without wings are the extinct moa and elephant birds. B. Bed. Bed is a piece of furniture that is used as a place to sleep, rest, and relax. Most modern beds consist of a soft, cushioned mattress on a bed frame. The mattress rests either on a solid base, often wood slats, or a sprung base. Many beds include a box spring inner sprung base, which is a large mattress-sized box containing wood and springs that provide additional support and suspension for the mattress. Beds are available in many sizes, ranging from infant-sized bassinets and cribs, to small beds for a single person or adult, to large queen and king-size beds designed for 2 people. B. Bus. Bus is a motor vehicle that carries significantly more passengers than an average car or van, but fewer than the average rail transport. It is most commonly used in public transport, but is also in use for charter purposes, or through private ownership. Although the average bus carries between 30 and 100 passengers, some buses have a capacity of up to 300 passengers. The most common type is the single-deck rigid bus, with double-decker and articulated buses carrying larger loads, and midi-buses and mini-buses carrying smaller loads. Coaches are used for longer distance services. Many types of buses, such as city transit buses and intercity coaches, charge a fare. B. Balloons. Balloons are a flexible membrane bags that can be inflated with a gas, such as helium, hydrogen, nitrous oxide, oxygen, or air. For special purposes, balloons can be filled with smoke, liquid water, granular media, or light sources. Modern-day balloons are made from materials such as rubber, latex, polychloroprene, or a nylon fabric, and can come in many different colors. Some early balloons were made of dried animal bladders, such as the pig bladder. Some balloons are used for decorative purposes or entertaining purposes, while others are used for practical purposes such as meteorology, medical treatment, military defense, or transportation. B. Butterfly. Butterflies are winged insects from the Lepidopteran superfamily Papilionoidea, characterized by large, often brightly colored wings that often fold together when at rest, and a conspicuous, fluttering flight. The oldest butterfly fossils have been dated to the Paleocene, about 56 million years ago, though molecular evidence suggests that they likely originated in the Cretaceous. Butterflies have a 4-stage life cycle, and like other holometabolous insects they undergo complete metamorphosis. Winged adults lay eggs on plant foliage on which their larvae, known as caterpillars, will feed. The caterpillars grow, sometimes very rapidly, and when fully developed, pupate in a chrysalis. B. Backpack. Backpack is in its simplest frameless form, a fabric sack carried on one's back and secured with two straps that go over the shoulders, and is used to carry goods from one place to another. It can feature an external or internal frame to transfer heavy loads off the user's shoulders and onto their hips, reducing strain and increasing comfort on long hikes with heavy gear. Backpacks are commonly used by hikers and students. They are often preferred to handbags for carrying heavy loads or carrying any sort of equipment, because of the limited capacity to carry heavy weights for long periods of time with their hands. B. Bat. Bats are winged mammals, the only mammals capable of true and sustained flight. Bats are more agile in flight than most birds, flying with their long spread out digits covered with a thin membrane or patagium. The smallest bat, and one of the smallest extant mammals, is Kitti's hog-nosed bat, which is 29 to 33 mm in length, 150 mm across the forearm and 2 g in mass. The largest bats are the flying foxes, with the giant golden-crowned flying fox reaching a weight of 1.5 kilograms and having a wingspan of 1.6 m. The second largest order of mammals after rodents, bats account for about 20% of all classified mammal species worldwide, with at least 1,500 known species. B. Book. Book is a written work of substantial length created by one or more authors. They can be distributed in various forms such as printed books, audiobooks, and electronic books. Books are broadly classified into fiction, containing invented narrative or other imaginary content, and non-fiction, containing content intended as factual truth. The term may also refer to the physical or electronic object containing such a work. Modern books are typically printed in a codex format, composed of many pages bound together and protected by a cover. Before the wide adoption of the modern printing press, codices were used to create handwritten manuscripts. B. Boy. Boy is a young male human. The term is commonly used for a child or an adolescent. When a male human reaches adulthood, they are usually described as a man. According to the Merriam-Webster dictionary, a boy is a male child from birth to adulthood. The word boy comes from Middle English boy, related to other Germanic words for boy, namely East Frisian boy and West Frisian boy. Although the exact etymology is obscure, the English and Frisian forms probably derive from an earlier Anglo-Frisian brother, a diminutive of the Germanic root, from Proto-Indo-European brother. The root is also found in Norwegian dialectal boa brother, and, through a reduplicated variant, in Old Norse bofi, Dutch boef knave, rogue, German bobet. B. Boat. Boat is a watercraft of a large range of types and sizes, but generally smaller than a ship, which is distinguished by its larger size or capacity, its shape, or its ability to carry boats. Small boats are typically used on inland waterways such as rivers and lakes, or in protected coastal areas. However, some boats were intended for offshore use. In modern naval terms, a boat is a vessel small enough to be carried aboard a ship. Boats vary in proportions and construction methods according to their intended purpose, available materials, or local traditions. Canoes have been used since prehistoric times and remain in use throughout the world for transportation, fishing, and sport. B. Blue. Blue is one of the three primary colors in the RGB color model, as well as in the RYB color model, and also the fifth color of the rainbow. It lies between cyan and indigo on the spectrum of visible light. The term blue generally describes colors perceived by humans observing light with a dominant wavelength between approximately 450 and 495 nanometers. The clear daytime sky and the deep sea appear blue because of an optical effect known as Rayleigh scattering. An optical effect called the Tyndall effect explains blue eyes. Distant objects appear more blue because of another optical effect called aerial perspective. B. Barn. Barn is an agricultural building usually on farms and used for various purposes. In North America, a barn refers to structures that house livestock, including cattle and horses, as well as equipment and fodder, and often grain. As a result, the term barn is often qualified, e.g. tobacco barn, dairy barn, cow house, sheep barn, potato barn. In the British Isles and in Europe, the term barn is restricted mainly to storage structures for unthreshed cereals and fodder, the terms byre or shippen being applied to cow shelters, whereas horses are kept in buildings known as stables. In mainland Europe, however, barns were often part of integrated structures known as byre dwellings. B. Banana. Banana is an elongated, edible fruit, botanically a berry, produced by several kinds of large tree-like herbaceous flowering plants in the genus Musa. In some countries, cooking bananas are called plantains, distinguishing them from dessert bananas. The fruit is variable in size, color, and firmness, but is usually elongated and curved, with soft flesh rich in starch covered with a peel, which may have a variety of colors when ripe. It grows upward in clusters near the top of the plant. Almost all modern edible seedless cultivated bananas come from two wild species, Musa acuminata and Musa balbisiana, or their hybrids. Musa species are native to tropical Indomalaya and Australia. B. Blocks. Blocks are wooden, plastic, or foam pieces of various and colors that are used as construction toys. Sometimes, toy blocks depict colors, numbers, and letters of the alphabet. There are mentions of blocks or dice with letters inscribed on them used as entertaining educational tools in the works of English writer and inventor Hugh and English philosopher John Locke. Platt described them as the child using to play much with them, and being always told what letter chanceth, will soon gain his alphabet, and Locke noted into a knowledge of the letters, be taught to read, without perceiving it to be anything but a sport. B. Blanket. Blanket is a swath of soft cloth large enough either to cover or to enfold most of the user's body and thick enough to keep the body warm by trapping radiant body heat that otherwise would be lost through convection and radiation. The term arose from the generalization of a specific fabric called blank, a heavily napped undyed woolen weave. A popular theory has that the name derives from an eponymous Thomas Blanket, a Flemish weaver who lived in Bristol, England, in the 14th century. However, earlier usage of the term is possible as a borrowing of the Old French word blanket for the type of fabric, attested as early as 1278 and deriving from the adjective blanc, meaning white. William Shakespeare is recognized as the first person to use the verb blanket, meaning to cover with or as with a blanket. B. Bell. Bell is a directly struck idiophone percussion instrument. Most bells have the shape of a hollow cup that when struck vibrates in a single strong strike tone, with its sides forming an efficient resonator. The strike may be made by an internal clapper or uvula, an external hammer, or in small bells by a small loose sphere enclosed within the body of the bell. Bells are usually cast from bell metal for its resonant properties, but can also be made from other hard materials. This depends on the function. Some small bells can be made from cast or pressed metal, glass, or ceramic, but large bells, such as a church, clock, and tower bells, are normally cast from bell metal. B. Bread. Bread is a baked food product made from water, flour, and often yeast. It is a staple food across the world, particularly in Europe and the Middle East. Throughout recorded history and around the world, it has been an important part of many cultures' diets. It is one of the oldest human-made foods, having been of significance since the dawn of agriculture, and plays an essential role in both religious rituals and secular culture. Bread may be leavened by naturally occurring microbes, chemicals, industrially produced yeast, or high-pressure aeration, which creates the gas bubbles that fluff up bread. Bread may also be unleavened. In many countries, Mass-produced bread often contains additives to improve flavor, texture, color, shelf life, nutrition, and ease of production. B. Bridge. Bridge is a structure designed to span an obstacle, such as a river or railroad, allowing vehicles, pedestrians, and other loads to pass across. Most bridges consist of a flat deck, supported by beams, arches, or cables. These structures rest on a foundation that is carefully designed to transfer the weight of the bridge to the subsoil without settling. Bridges can be constructed in a wide variety of forms, determined by the location, intended purpose, and available construction technologies. Simple bridge structures include beam bridges made from logs, and suspension bridges made of ropes or vines. The Romans and ancient Chinese built major arch bridges of timber, stone, and brick.